Mic check, mic check. What's going on, world? You already know it's your boy SB, and I'd like to welcome y'all back to episode 36 of season 5 of the Roll Up Podcast. As always, before we kick off every episode, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to each and every one of y'all for y'all continuous support. Whether you subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the movement via social media. Thank you for spreading the movement via word of mouth. And most importantly, thank you for allowing the podcast to be a beacon of positivity in your journey. The reason why we're going where we're going this season is credited to the love and support that y'all give day in and day out. And as I've said in every episode in the second quarter, I shall forever give thanks like a pilgrim. But first, before we get started, we got to cover some logistics first. I would like to extend an invitation, if you haven't done so already, to like, comment, and subscribe to the campaign. You can subscribe to the podcast on YouTube at the Sauce Brady Experience. You can also follow the social media movement at the Roll Up Podcast. Be sure to engage with the content. Be sure to like and share with the homies because we're finessing the algorithm this year and we're going to take over the world with it. So if you're new to the campaign, go ahead over to the YouTube channel and get your subscribe on. Follow me on Instagram and Threads at the Roll Up Podcast. Also, I'm updating. Well, I'm actually not updating, but I'm creating a new website for the podcast. So the SauceBradyExperience.com domain has expired. We'll talk about that a little later. But I'm in the process now of creating a new website. It's damn near 95% done. But that shit gonna be way harder than my last website. So make sure y'all be on the lookout for that in the next coming days. Also be sure to check out the Sauce Factory and grab you some merch. The season 5 collection is available right now. And remember, any purchase made via the spot or the Sauce Factory, you get an autographed copy of my second book titled You Deserve Better. Speaking of You Deserve Better, that's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, along with my first book titled Here's the Truth. Both are really great reads, and as you set out to achieve greatness, they should be a great starting point if today is day 1, and the content is pretty relatable. So if you're on day 421, then it's going to help you find that strength to keep going. I will also be starting a new campaign titled Gaming with Sauce, where I live stream some of my favorite video games, and we'll be able to do a Q&A so we can chop it up and connect with one another. So make sure y'all be on the lookout for that as well. So, now that we got the business out of the way, it's time that we dive into today's conversation. The last few episodes have been dedicated to the uphill battles we face en route to our goals. Today's episode is a reminder that your efforts will be rewarded. Whether it's a financial burden lifted, a successful business, you learning a new skill, or simply living a life you always knew you could. One thing we'll be able to agree on is right on par with today's quote. Today's quote comes from an unknown source, and I'm pretty sure you've heard it before. But it reads, "The best view comes after the hardest climb." A couple years ago, when we were out in Phoenix, we had our tourist level set to the maximum setting. Every morning, we were on the internet searching for new places to visit. We found a couple of great spots, but one of my favorite spots was Dobbin Lookout at South Mountain. As we approached the mountain, we noticed that the roads were tight, and at some point, the road was at a very steep incline. But after managing to squeeze our way through the canyons, when we reached the top of the mountain, we could see all of God's creation. The view and vibes from Dobbin's Lookout is arguably one of my favorite sights that I've ever seen in my life. The journey to the top of that mountain, however, is very similar to our road to glory. On this journey to greatness, sometimes we will face steep inclines, and like being in the desert, we will face times of loneliness, times of perseverance, and etc. But my friend, nothing will feel better as the moment than finally reaching our destination. When we finally get to the top of that mountain and we're able to get a bird's eye view of our journey, we will be reminded of our tenacity and adversities. More importantly, we will see that in the end, all the hard work, all the sacrifice paid off, and it worked out better than we could imagine. Experiencing this elevated perspective, we will be able to reflect on the times that we didn't think we would make it. We will think back to the unseen struggle and be grateful that we don't look like what we've been through. On this journey, the end goal will seem so far, but as long as we continue to press towards the mark and continue to shine on our authentic light, when we reach the top, We won't feel guilty for pursuing our passions, but we will feel grateful that we answered the call. Like we touched on in the last episode, the hardest part is deciding to take action. From the base of South Mountain, it looks like it's going to take hours to get to the top. But from the moment you start your trek to the top, you will see that the distance is a lot shorter than you think. The same goes with pursuing our calling. It may seem as the end is impossible, but if you stay present in the moment and focus on the process and not the end goal, you will get there a lot faster. Overthinking causes a lot of people to not take action towards their goal. They consistently wait for that perfect moment to take action, and they wait for the perfect moment to believe in themselves. But the truth is, the only perfect moment that we have to execute our plans is the current moment that we're experiencing right now. The sign that you need to believe in yourself is showing itself every single day. It's just not a sign you're looking for. You know, when you think about it, like that story that young Jaden Smith told in The Pursuit of Happiness, a man was stranded in the water and asked God for a sign that he would be saved. One guy pulls up on a boat to save him and he declined to help because God was going to give him a sign. Another boat pulls up and again the guy declines it because he was waiting on the perfect sign. A third boat pulls up and once again he waved out to help, waiting for a better sign. After a while, the man says, "God, please send me a sign." At which God replies, "I sent you 3 boats, you dummy." The story is important because the signs that you're waiting for are already accessible to you. You just want a sign that doesn't lead you to uncertainty. You don't want the path that is filled with adversity in the beginning. But again, you can't cry from the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. My friend, this is your sign that it's time to stop avoiding the work. Time to stop delaying what's yours, and it's time to stop doubting your ability to reach your end goal. The goal is a lot closer than you think. You just have to reach out and grab it. The sure way to reach out and grab it is by putting in the work every single day. It's standing at the bottom of the mountain, seeing your end goal at the top, putting your head down and making your way up the mountain. If you consistently look up to check how far you've made it, constantly watching the clock, trying to speed up the time versus working on the process, you are giving yourself the space to overthink and kill your production. Execution is the only way to the top of the mountain. Everybody can't go where you're going. Everybody won't stay down. Everybody won't push you to do your best. But this episode is your sign to keep going. This episode is your reminder that the only way to get to where you're going is to get out of your head and into the game. Showing up to practice every day may seem mundane, but perfecting the fundamentals is necessary to excel in your line of expertise. Without perfecting your craft, without getting better every day, without showing up as the best version of yourself, you're making room for doubt to creep in. You're making room for intrusive thoughts to creep in. Silence those negative thoughts, those negative voices, by taking consistent action towards your destination, and watch how fast you get to where you're going. As the opening quote suggests, the best view comes after the hardest climb. And if you're in a place of financial uncertainty, that is life showing you that it's time to be more intentional with the process. If you're battling intrusive thoughts, that is life showing you that it's time to abandon the old thought process that doesn't serve you and is guiding you towards the light. You may not be able to see the end of the road, but as long as you are aware of what's happening in this moment, you will always find the signs that point you in the proper direction. If you're in the face of adversity, my friend, this is your time to prove what we've been talking about during this segment of the comeback season. By exercising persistence, self-validation, learning to self-motivate, dialing in on the process, being disciplined in the process, understanding that hard times never last, you're traveling uphill. You may think you're traveling backwards, but in fact, you're moving upwards. Again, an arrow can only be shot forward by being pulled backwards. If you feel like life is pulling you backwards, keep your sights on the prize, because when you're catapulted in the direction of your goals, you will definitely hit the mark. This is not a hypothesis. This is fact. As we get closer to the halfway point of 2024, let's continue to practice mental toughness. Let's continue to focus on our journey and stop comparing ourselves to other people's stories. Where you are right now, what you have right now, the change of perspective, the change of heart, the increased work ethic, and other badges you will earn on this journey will make sense once you get to the top of the mountain. It may take you 5, 10, 15, 20 years to get to the top, and that's okay. As long as you stay the course, you'll get to where you're supposed to be. As long as you stay the course, you will reap the benefits of what you sow. Everything that you quote unquote lost will be restored tenfold. Don't let life convince you that you're too far from your goals and you should roll over. This is your sign that it's time to roll up. Literally, call your plug and get right. It's time that you break down your problems, compartmentalize everything you think life should be, inhale the acceptance, and exhale in the reality that you are where you're supposed to be. When you stop thinking you should be somewhere else and embrace where you are, you'll be more confident in your journey. When you surrender your need to be in control of everything and take control of what's in your reach, you will exceed your expectations. In closing, your daily reminder remains the same. I believe in you. I know you can and will reach your goals this year. I know you will get to where you want to be, and I know you will get to where you need to be. But it doesn't matter if I know it. It only matters if you know it. If you're on the grind, stay consistent. Stay consistent in your effort. Stay consistent in your energy. And just keep the foot on the pedal, because everything can change in a year, and that's only if you stay consistent. And the most important thing to remember is that you only need to be right one time. Everything can change if you continue to press through adversity. Everything can change when you update your mental software. The going may be tough, but I promise you, when it's all said and done, you'll get to the top of that mountain and be able to see that your journey may have been ugly, but regardless of what happened, you did it. With that being said, that concludes today's message. I hope I said something inspiring to you to help you along your journey. I hope I said something meaningful and impactful that you could take with you as you go out and conquer your daily schemes. As always, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the campaign via YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Be on the lookout for the new website that's coming soon. Be on the lookout. I wasn't going to tell y'all this. I was going to say that for a couple episodes, but since I thought about it, I might as well spill the beans. I got a new video dropping today. It's already out right now on YouTube, just to get y'all re-familiar with the campaign and what's going on. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast on YouTube at the Sauce Brady Experience. Be on the lookout for that new, because I got some new shit on the way. This shit gonna blow y'all out the water. I promise you. I'm providing a real, true one-of-one experience, and I cannot wait to get this second half of the podcast going. Make sure you grab you some merch. Remember, any purchase at the spot in the Sauce Factory automatically gets you a free copy of You Deserve Better. But if you don't want it for free, you can always go grab it at Barnes & Noble and on Amazon as well. With that being said, like I said a second ago, this is your sign to get right. Call your plug, get you some gas, roll you a fatty, because you deserve it. You already know it's your boy. See y'all soon. Peace.